Welcome to the App Advisory Show, your fortnightly dose of all things cloud accounting, apps, and app advisory.
Afternoon all, welcome to another episode of the App Advisory Show. And today's guest is Tom Kelly from Modulr. Hi Tom, how you doing?
Hi Matt, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem, not a problem. We've had a busy couple of weeks, certainly with like Accountex restarting, so we're having a bit of a chat. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail as well. But tell us a bit about you, first and foremost, and which of the solutions that you work with.
Yeah, okay, thanks Matt. So I'm Tom Kelly. I'm the Strategic Accountancy and Payroll Lead at Modulr. So I've been with Modulr for about 4 years now, and I'll come clean and say that I'm not an accountant, so hopefully that allows me to carry on with this. My background is primarily payments and banking, so that's 20 years at NatWest and RBS, a few years at a virtual card issuer called WEX, and then about 3 years at MasterCard before joining Modulr.
Ah, right, okay, cool. So you've always sort of been in this sort of payments, finance sort of world. Bank, obviously NatWest is a big bank, but all these other offshoots of other areas as well. Was that something you fell into, or was it just something that you sort of enjoy and want to keep in that sort of world?
Yeah, I suppose I started specialising in payments around 2000, so a good 20 odd years of doing that, and just wanted to explore all the different areas of that, from sort of traditional banking payments through to card payments, and then more latterly the electronic and digital payments. Okay,
cool. So what do you mentioned a little bit about your role in Modulr, but like sort of week to week, day to day, month to month, what are you doing within the business?
So I lead a team of a business development team within the accounting and payroll sector vertical within Modulr, and we've got a team that are dedicated to working with accountants and bookkeepers.
Okay.
And their role is to help them to avail themselves of the latest payment technology, regardless of what accounting or payroll software they use. I also have a team of practice enablement managers, and their role, once an accountancy practice has decided to go ahead with a Modulr solution, then the practice enablement team will help them to make the most of that solution and to roll that out across their client base.
Okay, so you're doing business development, engagement, onboarding, the whole sort of shebang in the accountancy and bookkeeping. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. And what's the history of Modulr? I mean, give a high level of what it does, and we're going to go into a bit more detail on some of the key points of it. But yeah, give us a bit of an overview and a history of Modulr.
Yeah, of course. So Modulr is, we call it a payments as a service platform. So we focus on automating end-to-end payment flows, which enables the partners that we work with, so in this example, the accountancy and payroll software vendors, to embed payment functionality within their existing software processes. So the point of doing that is to create a seamless workflow for their customers, and with the aim of removing manual processes that are traditionally inherent in making payments at the end of completing an invoice run or from calculating a payroll.
Right. Okay. And where did this solution come from? Normally, I mean, I've done quite a lot of these, spoke to quite a lot of the solutions in this space. Sort of comes from a problem that someone spots or actually has. Was that the case, or is it slightly different from Modulr? Where did it all arrive from, and when was that?
No, you're right, and no different with us really. So I mean, we've been processing payments at Modulr for about 5 years now.
Okay.
And our founders identified that commercial payments had suffered from underinvestment, largely controlled by the big banks in the UK. And then there were some regulatory changes that were happening around that time that allowed e-money institutions to enter the market, and Modulr established itself as an e-money institution.
Right. Okay.
And that enabled us to sort of drive forward innovation, for digital capabilities, and we were seeing a rise in customer demand for instant access to services, and we really felt that Modulr could make a real difference in that market. So
when did you come into sort of the accountancy and bookkeeping world? Is that in the last couple of years, or just pre-pandemic, or so if you can go 5 years? So what's the
so it was probably one of the earlier areas that we got into. So about 3.5 years ago, one of the earliest partnerships we established was with Sage.
Yeah.
And we effectively become the tech behind the tech. So we're sort of powering the payments infrastructure for primarily small and medium-sized businesses, but sitting in the background effectively behind software that people are familiar with using already.
Right. Okay. Oh, and the link with Sage, is that like certain versions, or is it all like, 'cause there's obviously a lot of products in the Sage suite?
Yeah, so we launched with Sage 50 and Sage 200 for both supplier payments and payroll.
Okay, so those are your sort of main areas of Sage that you're working with at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And in terms of the solution and like some of the key features, like I know you guys have got some good relationships, some good partners, and you're working this channel really well. But if no one's heard of this or wants to learn a little bit more, like what are some of the key features that are really resonating with the accounting and bookkeeping audience? So
I guess our sort of approach to this has always been about do what you do smarter. So we're not looking for accountancy practices or bookkeepers to completely change what they do. So we've worked hard with our partners to enable them to build our payment functionality into their software. And then that enables the accountants and bookkeepers to make payments in just a few clicks. So that was always the aim of what we were trying to achieve. And what this does is it allows partners such as Sage, BrightPay, Iris, and soon to be Xero later this year to submit payments directly from the software, and it gives them direct access to the faster payment network. And the difference that faster payments brings is that it enables you to fulfill a payment within 90 seconds. And that compares more to the traditional BACS payments that most institutions would be making, which is a 3-day cycle. And big time-saving benefits from that, and it enables you to remove some of the traditional bottlenecks that would happen sort of early to midweek to make sure that a payroll happens later in the week. Because we have a 90-second cycle, it lets you do the work right up until the moment that you need payments to be in the recipient's bank accounts. Okay, so it's reducing that lag and into the faster payments. You're right with the back sort of 3-day minimum sort of rule. And is that something that's sort of identified quite early by you guys when you sort of started getting in this, and that's something you've really worked with and progressed? Yeah, definitely. So I guess when we started off on this journey, we spoke to a lot of accountancy practices and understood what their processes looked like today. And we saw a lot of manual activity, people downloading files, emailing spreadsheets out to their clients, manually keying payments into online banking software, uploading files. And some of the concerns associated with that from practices were that they could make lots of errors, they could lose the files, they could mix files up between clients if you're doing lots of payments for lots of different clients, and taking data out of one system and then having to put it into another. There's the risk of it being altered and changed, which they had led to some accountancy practices shying away from offering these types of services to their clients. So that's where we really focused on making the integration as seamless as possible, so that it removed the whole downloading a file and uploading a file process, and gave the confidence around security and the fact that data wasn't coming out of one system and into another. It was all being handled through the integration that we've worked on with our partners.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting because I think the accounting and bookkeeping world is all about control, really very risk averse. And then you find these scenarios where people are logging into other people's banks and all of this, and it just seems so left field from everything else around control and risk. And I think the profession just sort of got dragged into working that way because there's been no tools there. But when you think about it in terms of what you're actually doing, the risk around that and the lack of visibility as well, an audit trail, it just sort of goes really against the grain of, I think, what the profession is trained on.
Yeah, I mean, I in the early days, I went out to an accountancy practice and they opened their drawer and they showed me all the little card readers that they had for a number of different clients and cards, and a book full of passwords, and it's horrifying, really. But that was the way that they could make it work. But obviously, there was a lot of inherent risk in doing that. And by bringing our solution together, it creates a generic process regardless of the software that they're using. So regardless of who your client banks with, the look and feel of the payment experience, it remains the same. So that was always an attractive feature from an accountant's perspective.
Is there like an approval process for clients to approve a payment run or anything like that? Is that something that's built in the software as well?
Yes. So again, based on the feedback from accountants, one of the things that led us to build what we call the payment dashboard. And that dashboard provides insight for the accountant into all of their clients that they're providing the service for. So it's a holistic view of the client base. You can keep track of payments that are due, when clients need to fund their accounts, when they need to do approvals, if they've missed doing those approvals. And brings it all together, like I said before, in a generic view, regardless of what the software is that's happening, that's using to initiate the payments in the background. And the way we built it as well allows the accountant to have some choice around whether the client does the final approval of the payment. So the accountant's doing all the preparation, getting everything ready, and then the client has the ability to do the final approval. Or if the client doesn't want to have that as part of their process and the accountant's happy to take that process on board for the clients, then they can delegate that authority back to the accountant and they can complete the whole process on their behalf. And there's the way it's set up enables them to do different things for different clients across there, because obviously we recognize that it's not always a one size fits all.
Yeah. So you've got the dashboard, you've got your clients connected, and they're going to be all sorts of softwares, all sorts of banks. But you've got the dashboard which covers that, and then the different approval processes that have been agreed with the client. So some on delegation, some on actually I need client approval, which seems like really clean actually, doesn't it, in terms of visibility and accountability, responsibility, all those key things which sometimes are a bit grey, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely, and we try to keep it simple, because the challenge with these, you can over-engineer some of these things. I think just having that separation of duties and the ability to do that is the most important. But the actual processes associated with that, we try to really streamline that and make it into just a few clicks.
Yeah, okay. And in terms of you mentioned a few sort of integrations, and you've got a couple on the roadmap. Any key things coming up for you on the software roadmap?
Yeah, so the key integrations that we've got today are with Sage, BrightPay, so Sage 50 and Sage 200.
Yeah.
We have BrightPay and Thesaurus in Ireland.
Yeah.
We also have integrations with Iris. So we've started with Iris Ernie. And we've got other Iris products being added soon over the next few months. And then also we've been working on an integration with Xero, and that will be available later this year, early next, when we'll launch that as one of the apps in the Xero App Store. The other thing that we also have done sort of in parallel to all of that is we've created a file upload solution as well that connects into the payment dashboard. And that enables anybody that is using software that isn't one of the integrations that we've got on board yet, they have the ability to upload a file and take advantage of the faster payment connectivity that we've got.
Yeah, so that's just a basic catch-all for anything that doesn't fit in, because you can't integrate with everything, right? That's
no, exactly.
That's a long old haul to get to the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone with the biggest ones first, but we will be adding some specialist ones, and it'll be driven by demand, really. So demand from clients and accountants, and then we'll work with various partners to add the functionality. But yeah, if you just need to make some ad hoc payments, or you're using something that isn't as mainstream, then we're finding quite a few customers that are enjoying using the file upload and just having that access to faster payments.
Okay. Just a question on so you cover the account and bookkeeping channel. Is there a direct to consumer channel that you have? You've got a team going direct to businesses?
Yeah, that actually does sit under me as well. So
right, okay.
We try to do that as electronically as possible. So it is possible to go onto our website and to sign up for a solution if you wanted to use it directly. I have got a team of people that can help with any questions during that onboarding process, or if you need help setting it up. But yeah, whilst primarily our focus is working with accountants, we do have the ability for a direct small business to sign up and connect their integrated software with us and start using the solution themselves.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, most of the solutions do, to be fair, and I think it's always good for the accounting bookkeeping channel to know there's a direct, because they also, you also know what SMEs are asking as well around this, so you get the interaction and the feedback and the collaboration with the accounting bookkeeping channel, but then you've also got the feedback directly from the end users who are using the product. So it's always good, in my opinion, to get both facets covered. So I think that's really good. And in terms of, we were just talking about like Accountex and events, and we've had like a bit of a wacky couple and a half years, really. What events you managed to go to? You went to Accountex recently. How do you find that?
Yeah, so we were at Accountex last week. It was probably the best show that we've been to at Modulr since we entered into this market. It was really busy. It felt like the old days, I guess, in terms of footfall in the venue, and particularly at our stand as well, which I had the full team there. Lots of interest. We had accountants signing up for the solution there and then on the stand.
Great.
So literally kicking off and starting to invite their clients within minutes of having the conversations with us. So that was really exciting for us. And I think the more and more integrations that we add, it's starting to sort of get that groundswell of interest, because some of the early days feedback we had was that accountants would say to us, we like the concept, but we want it to work for all of our client base before we implement a new solution. So by us adding those partners all the time, it starts to address a wider percentage of an accountant's client base. And I think what's emerging for us is making sure that we can help the accountant to invite their clients to use the service and expand that. And that was a lot of the feedback we were getting last week at Accountex around, how important that aspect is to help, once they've signed up, how do you help to position this with clients and help them to go through that onboarding process.
Good. Yeah, it's good you've got a team as well to pick up and help out on that. And I think we are just in an integrated world, right? I think it's just going to be expected, really, that it's an ongoing, it's never quite finished all your integrations. There's always something else that's going to pop up and something left field. And I think also with firms, like, there's a small percentage of firms who are wedded completely to one product and one platform they work with. But then there's always going to be others which have got, a diverse set of clients on all sorts of different systems. And I think you're right, you're going to have to sort of cater for the majority of those, the main players anyway. and then you've got your uploader, file uploader for anything that doesn't really fit the standard. So yeah, I think that's sort of, for me, it feels like for solutions, it's a no-brainer. It's got to go that way, really, with what everybody else is doing as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I guess, and we're trying to innovate in that area as well as to helping accountants to do the invitation process. So we launched a tool called Client Manager, which makes it easier for the accountant to invite the clients, keep track of the applications, make sure that they go live when they want them to, ahead of a payroll deadline, for example. And that's really making a difference. And again, it doesn't matter what software they're using, this tool brings all of that together and sort of unifies it and makes it easier for them to make best use of this and offer the service to more of their clients than maybe they had considered previously. Because I mentioned earlier at the beginning around when the process is difficult or worrying or time consuming, then you almost offer the service just where you have to, or where there's somebody's asked you to do it. Whereas we want to empower accountancy practices and bookkeepers to have a new service and a service that they can offer and actually generate revenue from it. And that's the feedback we're getting, is that it's allowing them to do just that.
Yeah, agreed. Are you guys going to any other events? Are you at anything the remainder of the year?
Yeah, so we will be at Digital Accountancy Show.
Yeah, okay.
Coming up, yeah. And generally, we're normally at all the other events that are happening. We turn up at everything where we can, to be honest.
Good. And what big question at the moment with events on the radar, on the horizon, and happening at the moment? What's your swag? Because the amount of swag which was flying around on Wednesday when I was at Accountex was unbelievable.
We are big on socks. Socks are is our thing, and we have different ranges of socks, different colours.
Wow, you've gone all in on the socks.
Yeah, no. So we've got people that collect all the different colours. We even have people ordering them from us directly. So yeah, no, socks is a big thing. So we do a bit of a combo of socks, mugs, and pens. Seems to be going down quite well at the moment.
Yeah, socks are really like at the top at the moment. I should have had a bit of a closer look round, but yeah, socks are. You can't go wrong with socks, to be fair. It just means that no one can buy many Christmas presents, probably, if you get this many socks. But maybe even ditch like all these solutions and just like go to these events and just sell socks. It could be the way forward, right?
Feels like that some days. We're just queuing to get the socks.
I bumped into a couple of chaps I know, and they literally had, their bags were full because they were coming out for lunch to drop some stuff off, and there was just socks everywhere. All over the shop, so good. Well, anyway, I'm sure we'll see some more of these floating about. There might have to be a socks review. Maybe I'll go on to swag reviews in the next set of these. So if somebody's listening to this from the accounting and bookkeeping channel and wants to engage, wants to learn more about the solution, wants to become a partner, like what should they do as a next step?
So they can go through any of our partners' websites or speak with the team. So Sage, BrightPay, Iris, they can link you through to our team to help get you set up and on board. Or you can come directly to Modulr. The website's www.modularfinance.com/small-business.
Okay.
Or they can email my team directly at smallbusiness@modularfinance.com.
Okay, great. And do you like hang out anywhere? Are you like a LinkedIn or a Twitter or anything like that? Where are you guys hanging out on any particular social media platforms?
Yeah, we're on everything basically. So yeah, we're on Twitter, and you can follow us on there. We also have Instagram pages, and we also have a LinkedIn presence, and we also have a group called the Accountancy Pathfinders, which you can register for on the website, and that has its own LinkedIn group, which a lot of our accountancy customers and non-customers have joined, and is all focused on sort of forward-thinking accountants and bookkeepers, not bookmakers.
Not bookmakers, yeah.
And bookkeepers, and is talking about innovation and just sort of some of the new product developments that are out there at the moment.
Okay, is that like a little peer group on LinkedIn?
Yeah, yeah,
great.
Yeah, and we're looking to grow that and build that out. So it'd be great if anybody's interested in joining that, they can find the details on the website.
Great. So we've got the website. You're going to be at Digital Accountancy Show. You're all over all the social media platforms. Great. Well, everyone will know how to get hold of you, and no doubt I'll see you at the Digital Accountancy Show as well.
Sounds good.
Tom, that's been absolutely great. Thanks for an overview of the solution of Modulr, a bit of background on you. We had a bit of conversation around the swag as well. That's been on point. But thanks a lot for your time. And again, if anyone's listening, make sure you hook into these guys and find out some more and sign up if it's going to help you and your clients going forward. So thanks a lot, Tom.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
If anyone wants to sign up, guys, we're on all of the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, we're on YouTube. If you want to have a good look at us, you can have a look there. And if you've got any messages or questions for the podcast, drop them into me on the LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there. But for today, we'll leave it at that. Thanks again, Tom.
Great. Thanks, Matt.